The sky tore apart like paper. A loud boom echoed across the night. Flames lit up the clouds. A silver alien ship was falling fast, smoke pouring from its engines. Inside. The alien warrior girl gripped the controls tightly. Her sharp blue eyes narrowed, her black armor was scratched, and her left arm was bleeding green. The battle in space had gone wrong. She was supposed to return as a hero, but now she was crashing on a strange planet unknown, wild, and full of danger. She growled in frustration as the ship hit the ground hard. The crash was loud, breaking trees and throwing dirt in the air. Everything went dark. Hours passed. She woke up inside the broken ship, tensed from the controls. Her head hurt. A weapon still strapped to her side was glowing faintly. She limped out of the ship, stepping onto soft green grass. The sun was rising. Birds chirped. It was ... peaceful ... too peaceful ... Her training kicked in. Stay alert. Trust no one. Eliminate all threats. She walked slowly, her weapon ready, eyes scanning everything. Then she heard something dash footsteps. She turned fast, aiming her weapon. A human stood a few feet away. He wore a gray jacket and old boots. His hair was messy, and his face was calm. He had no weapons, just a small metal box in his hand, a tool, maybe. He looked at her without fear. She raised her voice, sharp and cold. Stay back, or I'll kill you. The human didn't move. He just ... smiled, and then he said something that made her freeze. You're cute when angry. Her weapon shook slightly. What did he just say? She had been called many things: killer, commander, beast, but never cute. Never like this. Her mouth opened to reply, but no words came. Her mind felt strange. Why wasn't he afraid? Why wasn't he running? He stepped forward slowly, hands raised. I saw your ship fall. You're lucky to be alive, he said calmly. You look hurt. Do you need help? She stayed silent. Her instincts screamed not to trust him, but her body was weak. Her arm burned. Her legs shook. Still ... That smile. She didn't lower her weapon, but she let him come closer. I can fix the arm, he said, pointing gently. I'm a mechanic. Well, kinda. He placed his bag on a rock and opened it. His tools, wires, tape. Real, simple tools, not weapons. She watched him closely. The people believed humans were primitive, violent creatures. But this one, he didn't look dangerous. He looked kind. Stupid, maybe, but kind. When he touched her arm to clean the wound, she flinched. He didn't stop. That must hurt, he whispered. No one ever said that to her. No one cared if it hurt. Warriors didn't feel pain. Warriors didn't need comfort. But she wasn't on our planet anymore. When he was done, he sat back, smiling again. There. Better. She finally spoke. Why? Help me. He shrugged. 'Cause you're alone, and I've been alone too. That hit her hard. She stared at him. Her weapon lowered slowly. Just then, her wrist device beeped. Low power. No signal. Her translator was breaking down. Soon, she wouldn't even understand his words. She looked at him. I need ship. He nodded. We'll get it working. One part at a time. She blinked. He was already walking toward her broken ship, talking about repairs and tools she had never seen. Like this was normal. Like she was normal. She watched him, confused. Her mind kept repeating his words. Cute when angry. Why did that bother her more than his smile? The alien warrior girl followed the human slowly. Her weapon was still in her hand, but it now hung lower than before. Her body was tired, her mind even more. The human walked with calm steps, his hands in his pockets. He didn't look back much. It was like he wasn't scared of her at all. Or maybe he trusted her. They reached a small wooden house, hidden behind trees. It was old but clean. Plants grew near the walls. A wind chime made a soft sound in the breeze. She had never seen anything like it. It felt peaceful but strange. He opened the door. "Come in," he said gently. She stood outside for a moment, eyes scanning the area. No traps, no guards, just quiet. She stepped inside slowly. The house smelled of metal and wood. Wires, tools, broken machines were everywhere. A small screen on the wall blinked with blue lights. She looked at it carefully. Old tech, but working. He pulled out a chair. "Sit. You need rest." She didn't sit. She stood in the corner like a soldier, arms crossed, watching everything. The human didn't push her. He just smiled a little and went to a table full of tools. He started working, hands moving fast. Sparks flew from a small device he was fixing. She watched his hands. They moved like they knew every wire, every screw. He didn't talk much, just worked, silent, focused. It surprised her. Most humans she studied were loud, angry, wild, but this one had quiet eyes and careful hands. He turned and held up a device. "This could charge your translator for now," he said. "Won't last long, but it'll help." She nodded. She didn't say thank you. Her people didn't say such words. But something inside her shifted. His hands were helping her again. Without fear, without force, he handed it over. Their fingers touched for a second. She pulled her hand back fast. He noticed, but didn't say anything. She sat down finally, placing the device near her arm. A soft hum started. The translator lit, up again weak, but working. "I'm fixing the power core of your ship," he said, "but I need time. Maybe days." She nodded again. Then silence. Long silence. Only the sound of tools. The wind outside and the soft beeping of machines. The alien girl stared at him for a long time. His jacket had a rip on the shoulder. His boots were dirty. His hands had oil and cuts. "Why? Alone?" she finally asked, her voice low and broken. He paused, then looked up. His eyes were tired, but kind. "War took everything," he said. "I left before it could take me too." She didn't ask more. She understood. War takes everything, even voices, even names. He stood and brought her something, a small bowl of warm food. She looked at it, confused. "It's just soup," he said, smiling. "You eat it." She sniffed. Strange smell, but not bad. She tasted it slowly warm. Her hands didn't shake now. Her mind felt a little quiet. He sat across from her, but didn't speak. Just watched her silently with soft eyes. That silence. It wasn't cold. It was calm, and that scared her more than any weapon. She looked away. Later, she stepped outside. The stars had come out. They were brighter here. No ships, no war, no voices shouting orders. Sky, open and endless. He stood next to her, arms crossed. "Your people still looking for you?" She nodded. "If they find, they kill me." He didn't react, just stood there, then said, "They're fools." She turned to him, surprised. "You're not broken," he said. "You're just lost, like me." Her breath caught in her chest. No one had ever said that to her, not even once. They stood in silence for a long time. Then he asked, "Do you have a name?" She hesitated. "Zyra." He smiled again. "I'm Kai. Zyra. Kai. Two names in the night, spoken like a quiet promise." She looked at him again. It's the same human who called her cute when she pointed a weapon at him. Now stood beside her like a friend. And for the first time, Zyra didn't feel like a warrior. She felt like a girl. Zyra woke before the sun. The sky was still dark, and the stars were fading. She stepped outside Kai's small wooden house, feeling the cold morning wind on her face. She didn't know how to explain it, but something inside her was heavy like a weight on her chest. She had dreamed again, not of stars, or peace, or hope, but of her past. Zaira was not born in freedom. She was created to fight from a young age. She was taken into training camps on her home planet Farthest. There were no parents, no comfort, only orders, drills, pain, and rules. The weak were punished. Emotions were erased. Feel nothing, fear nothing, be perfect. That was their only law. She still remembered her first fight when she was 12. The opponent was her only friend. They told her, win or die. She won, but she never smiled again after that. Her fingers clenched. Now, here she was, gone. A soft planet with a strange human who smiled too much and cooked soup. Why do I feel this way? She whispered to herself. Behind her, she heard footsteps. Hey. She turned fast, alert. It was Kai. He held 2 cups of something warm. I made tea, he said. Not sure if you drink it, but it helps with mornings. She took the cup slowly, eyes still watching him. He sat down on a rock beside her. Bad dreams. Ease. She looked away. Memories. They come back. I hate them. Kai nodded. I have those too. She looked at him, surprised. You? He sipped his tea and smiled without joy. I was a soldier once. Different war, different planet, a same pain. Zira stared at him in silence. Of her. The first time she saw something in his eyes. Sadness, deep and quiet, just like her own. I was trained to kill emotions, she said. If we cried, they punished us. If we smiled, they beat us. We were weapons, not people. Kai didn't say anything. He just listened. They erased my name once, she continued. Said I didn't deserve it. Caught me number 9. I fought to get it back, and I did. But the scars stayed. Kai looked at her. You don't talk much, but when you do, it matters. Zaira blinked. No one had ever said that before. He placed his cup down and walked toward the ship wreckage, still lying in the field. It was quiet again, but this time the silence felt lighter. Like sharing the past made it easier to carry. Zaira followed him after a moment. He was working on the core covered in dust and metal grease. Need help? She asked. Kai looked up, surprised, then smiled. Sure. Hold that wire. She knelt beside him, holding a thick black wire while he adjusted a power cell. Their hands touched again briefly. She didn't pull away this time. As they worked together, she kept watching him, the way he talked to Matchins like they were alive. The way he never rushed, never yelled, never judged. She didn't understand it. Kindness was not something she was trained to expect. Suddenly, a loud spark shot out from the panel. Zaira jumped back. Kai laughed. Okay, that was my fault. Zaira stared at him. You laugh when you make mistakes. He shrugged. Sometimes. What else can we do? Zaira thought about that. Her people punished failure with pain. This human accepted it with a smile. Strange species, but not bad. That night, they sat near the fire Kai had made. Zaira stared at the flames. Kai, she said quietly, do you believe a weapon can change? He looked at her. I don't believe you're a weapon, Zaira. I believe you're someone who was used as one. She looked into his eyes. He didn't blink. He didn't lie. He saw her not as a soldier, not as an alien, but as someone worth saving. Zaira turned back to the fire. Her voice was low, but steady. I want to forget who they made me, Kai replied. Gently. Then don't forget to replace it. Start new. Here, now. Zaira didn't answer. But her eyes no longer looked like a killer's. They looked like someone trying to be free. The night was quiet. Too quiet. Zaira stood outside Kai's small house, looking at the sky. The stars above were still, but something in her chest felt wrong. Her hand slowly moved toward her waist, her weapon still there. She hadn't needed it for days now, but tonight, her heart was beating fast. Kai came out behind her. "Awake again?" he asked. Syra didn't take her eyes off the sky. "Something's coming." He stepped beside her, looking up too. "I don't see anything." Syra closed her eyes for a moment. Her kind didn't just see with their eyes. They could feel energy in the air movement through the stars, and she was sure now. "They've found me," she whispered. Ty turned toward her. Huzaira slowly turned her head. Her face was calm, but her voice was heavy. "Hunters, my people, they think I'm a traitor. They don't come to rescue. They come to erase." Before Kai could reply, a sound cut through the night, a sharp humming in the sky, then dash, boom. A ship appeared, breaking the clouds above. It was black, fast, and deadly. Its lights scanned the forest below. Kai's eyes widened. "That's not a rescue ship, okay?" "No," Syra said, voice cold now. "That's a death squad." They ran inside the house. Syra opened her old battle gear. She hadn't worn it in days. The black armor still had burns and cracks, but it would have to do. Kai grabbed a tool that looked close to a weapon. "I'll help you." Syra turned fast. "No, stay hidden. They won't hesitate to kill you." Kai looked at her, firm. "I'm not running." Before Syra could stop him, the ground shook. The ship had landed. 3 alien warriors stepped out. Their armor was heavier, sharper. Red lights blinked from their helmets. They moved like machine-trained killers. Syra stepped out, alone to face them. She didn't shake. She didn't blink. The leader of the squad stepped forward and removed his helmet. His face was pale gray, with scars across his jaw. "Syra of Unit 9, he said, voice full of ice. "You broke protocol. You fled battle. You shared tech with a human." Syra didn't respond. He continued, "You know the price." Syra finally spoke. "I know, but I'm not going back." The leader's eyes narrowed. "Then you die here, okay?" They raised their weapons, but before they could firebang, okay, blast hit the side of one soldier. It wasn't fatal, but it was enough to shock them. Kai stood behind a tree, holding his homemade energy blaster. His hands were shaking, but his eyes were full of fire. Syra shouted, "Kai, no!" But it was too late. The hunters turned toward him. Syra jumped forward, attacking with speed. Her blade clashed with one of theirs, sparks flying in the dark. She kicked the second soldier back and blocked the third. Kai ducked behind rocks, firing again. One of the blasts hit the trees, setting them on fire. The battle was quick, but brutal. Syra moved like a shadow fast. Quiet, deadly, but she was outnumbered. One hunter grabbed her from behind, slamming her to the ground. Her weapon flew from her hand. Kai ran forward to help, but the leader knocked him down with a punch. Syra looked up and screamed. Kame, it, mak, it, get, ek, ade, as, a, aimed a blade at Kai's chest. She crawled across the ground, reaching for anything. Her fingers touched her old, broken, link, still sparking, still alive. She grabbed it and slammed it into the hunter's armor. C-A-A-A-P. A burst of energy shocked the hunter, making him fall. Zyra jumped up, grabbed her blade, and spun fast. One clean strike. One hunter down. She faced the leader, blood on her face, rage in her eyes, and silence in her mouth. They fought, hard blade against blade. He was stronger, but she was faster. With one final move, she slid under his attack and sliced his leg. He fell. She stood over him. He looked up, coughing. "You are no longer one of us." Zyra's voice came back in a whisper. "I know." Then silence. The hunters were down. The ship was damaged. Smoke filled the air. Zyra dropped her blade and ran to Kai. He was hurt, bleeding from the side. She held him close. "Kai, please, stay." He smiled weakly. "You're cute when you worry." Zyra laughed softly through tears, and for the first time in her life, she felt afraid to lose someone. Smoke rose in the cold air. The alien hunter ship lay burning in the field, its black metal broken and useless. The battle was over. The enemies were down. But the pain wasn't. Zyra held Kai in her arms. His eyes were half open. His blood soaked his shirt near the ribs. His breathing was slow. Her hands trembled. "Kai," she whispered. "You stay awake." Ati tried to smile. "Still here. Why did you fight?" she asked, voice cracking. "Okay, I told you not to." Kai looked at her with soft eyes. "Couldn't let them take you." Zyra blinked. Something wet touched her cheek. She reached up. It was a tear. She had never cried before. Not in training. Not in war. Not even when she was hurt. But now, a human was bleeding in her arms. She couldn't stop the tears. She pressed her hand against his wound. "You won't die. You hear me?" Kai laughed weakly. "You're Spossy when scared." "Be quiet," she said sharply. "Save your strength." She lifted him up, one arm under his back, the other steadying his legs. Her body was strong. She had carried weapons heavier than him, but her heart felt heavy like stone. Inside the house, she placed him on the bed and quickly cleaned the wound. His skin was pale. Okay, he was sweating. She grabbed old supplies, bandages, herbs, anything she could find. Her fingers moved faster than when she fought. But this fight was different. This time, she wasn't fighting enemies. She was fighting death as she cleaned the wound. Kai groaned in pain. Zyra bit her lip. Her hands were shaking again. She had been trained to survive, not to save. But she had to try. Hours passed. Zyra stayed beside him. She placed a cold cloth on his head, changed the bandages again and again. Every time he moved, she jumped. Every sound made her heart race, and every moment made her feel something new. Fear. Not fear of dying, fear of losing. She had lost her team, her home, her name once, but this was different. Kai was not her family, not her kind, not even from the same world, but somehow it became her only peace. The night grew deeper. Zyra sat by his side, holding his hand gently. His fingers were cold, his breath soft. She leaned close. "Don't leave me, Kai. I don't know how to be without you." No answer, just soft breathing. She rested her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Slow, but still there. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Please, don't go." When morning light touched the trees, Kai opened his eyes. Zyra was still beside him, sitting on the floor, her head resting on the bed. He smiled. She looked up, eyes wide. "Kai," he coughed lightly. "Still not dead." Zyra didn't speak. She just stared at him. Then suddenly she hugged him. A real hug, tight, warm. Shaking Kai was surprised. "Zyra." She didn't answer. He felt her breath on his neck. Then, wetness. She was crying. Not loud, not broken. Just soft tears falling. God had seen warriors cry before, only at the end. Only when everything was gone. But this was different. Zaira was still fighting, but this time she was fighting for him. After a long moment, she pulled back and looked into his eyes. "You make me weak," she said. Kai shook his head. "No, I think I made you human." She smiled, just a little, the first real smile he had seen from her. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. Later, Zaira stepped outside while Kai rested. She looked at the burned field, at the broken ship, at weapons left behind. She picked up one of the hunter blades, then threw it into the fire. She didn't need it anymore. She was not one of them now. She was something else. Someone else. The wind touched her face gently. She looked at the sky, no longer hiding, no longer afraid of her past. And inside the house was the reason Dakai, the human who didn't fear her, the one who called her cute when she pointed a weapon, the one who almost died for her, the one who made the warrior cry. The sky was quiet again. No ships, no hunters, no war, just the sound of leaves in the wind and the soft hum of life returning to normal. Kai was healing. The worst was over. He still walked slowly, but his smile had returned. Zaira watched him from a distance. He was fixing a radio, humming to himself, his hands covered in grease again. He looked alive, and she didn't feel like a weapon anymore. But that peace did not last. One evening, as the sun dipped low, a sharp sound broke the air. Beep, beep. Zaira froze. She knew that sound. The signal. She rushed toward the old communicator, half buried in her broken ship. It blinked in red. A message had come through. A long-range call. She pressed her finger to the panel. "Hey," voice came through. "Zaira of Unit 9. This is Command Ship Varen. We received your distress code. Confirm your status." Her heart skipped a beat. They had found her, but not with hunters. Not this time. It was a rescue team. She stepped away from the device. Her hands shook. Kai walked in, wiping his hands. "What's going on?" She looked at him. "They found me, my people. They're sending a rescue ship." Kai paused. His smile faded. "You mean ... They want you to come back?" "Okay." She nodded. "Yes." He sat down slowly. "And will you?" Zaira didn't answer. That night was heavy. She sat alone outside, staring at the stars, the same stars she once flew past as a soldier. Now they looked different, colder. Father Kai joined her, carrying a cup of tea. He didn't speak at first. Then finally he said, "If you go back, will they let you live?" Zaira sighed. "Maybe, but they'll change me, erase what I've felt, my time here, with you, ... It will all be deleted." "Can you live like that?" She looked at him. "I don't know." Kai looked at the stars too. "Then maybe ask yourself something else." "What?" Dee turned toward her. His voice was soft. "Do you want to stay?" Zaira looked into his eyes. She had seen them full of fire, pain, and laughter. But now, they held something else, hope. She stood up and walked to her old armor lying near the ship. It's the black metal suit. Sharp, strong, cold. She touched it with her hand. It felt like touching a past life. Suddenly, she didn't want to wear it anymore. Not because she was weak, but because she was done being a weapon. The next morning, the alien ship arrived. It didn't land with guns or fire. It floated gently in the air, waiting. A voice spoke again through the com. "Zaira, confirm pickup. You have 10 minutes. Zaira looked at Kai one last time. He didn't beg her to stay. He didn't hold her hand. He just said, "Whatever you choose, make sure it's for you. Not for them, not for me, for you." She stepped forward. Her hand hovered over the com. All she had to do was press it, say yes, and she'd go back to safety, to her people, to emptiness. She took a deep breath and stepped back. No, she whispered. She turned toward the ship in the sky. I'm not going. The ship waited. Then, slowly, it turned and vanished into the clouds. Zaira stood still for a long time. She had made her choice. She had chosen herself. Later, Zaira sat beside Kai at the fire. He handed her a tool. If you're staying, you're helping, Kai. She smirked. Helping with what? He pointed at the broken water pump. Fixing stuff. Real war. She rolled her eyes and took the tool. Fine. Kai looked at her quietly. Why did you stay? She paused, then said, because, with you, I feel like I exist. A smiled. You do? And as the fire crackled and the stars returned, Zaira leaned back, letting the silence wrap around her like a warm blanket. She didn't know what the future held, but she knew one thing. She was free, and she was finally home. Days passed, then weeks. The forest healed after the fire. The broken trees stood tall again. Birds returned. So did peace. Zaira no longer looked like the soldier who had crashed from the sky. Her black armor was gone, buried under stones far in the woods. Now she wore simple clothes, Kai's extra jacket, old boots, and a belt full of tools. Her hands no longer held weapons. They held wires, tools, and sometimes cups of tea. She helped Kai fix water systems, repair engines, and even build a new solar panel for the house. She learned to cook badly at first, but Kai ate everything anyway. Warrior hands can burn soup too, he joked. Zaira smiled more. Now, she laughed quietly, but honestly. But there was still one thing missing. Her voice. After the fight, her translator had stopped working. The old tech was too damaged. For days, she didn't speak at all, not even one word. Kai understood her through her eyes, her hands, and her silence. But deep inside, Zaira missed something. Not the machine that helped her speak. She missed her own voice. One night, as the stars glittered above, Kai and Zaira sat near the fire. Kai leaned back, looking relaxed. You know, he said, when you first arrived, I thought you were going to kill me. Zaira raised an eyebrow. He laughed. You had that look. The I've ended entire armies look. She rolled her eyes, but smiled. Kai turned serious. But then you stayed, even when you had the chance to leave. Zaira looked at him. He continued. I never said thank you. For that, she looked down. Her hands were shaking slightly. She opened her mouth. No sound. She closed it. Kai placed a hand over hers. It's okay, he said softly. Take your time. Zaira stared at the fire. Her heart was beating fast. Her throat felt tight. She had never spoken without help before. Not since she was a child. Not since her voice was trained out of her. She closed her eyes and tried again. Her voice came out dry, soft, broken, but hers. Thank you, she whispered. Kai's eyes widened. Zaira coughed, but smiled. My voice? It's real. Kai nodded slowly. It's beautiful. Her eyes filled with tears. Not from pain, but from joy. She had found something she didn't. No, she lost herself. The next morning, Zaira stood outside the house, holding a small device Kai had built. It could send messages across stars. She pressed a button. A recording began. This is Zaira, she said, voice still rough, but stronger. I was a soldier. I was a number. I was a tool. She paused, but not anymore. She looked back at the house. Kai was inside, laughing at something. On his screen, I am not going home, she continued, 'cause I found a better one. She ended the message and placed the device on a rock, letting the wind carry her words into the sky. Later, Zaira helped Kai build a small garden. He handed her a plant. What do we call this one? Zaira thought for a second. then said softly, "Hope." Kai smiled. "I like that." She placed the plant into the soil carefully, a warrior's hands. Now giving life. That evening, Kai cooked dinner. Syra set the table. As they sat down, Kai looked at her and smirked. "You're cute when you smile," he said. Syra looked at him. Then, with no translator, no machine, and no fear, she replied, "You're cute when you shut up." Kai burst into laughter. "Oh, wow, she speaks." Syra laughed too. The sound was strange, new, and beautiful in the dark, under stars, with no warships above, and no voices telling her who to be. Zyra had finally found her voice, and this time it was hers alone.